I am Tanya Romine, and you're not. Okay, I had to do that at least once. I don't know why that came to me today. I am Tanya Romine, and I am your worship associate today. I'm a member of this congregation, and on behalf of Reverend Dave Dunn, our interim minister, Liz Martin, who I saw walk in, and our director of religious exploration, Lexi T. Brown, our music director, Alex Peach, the greeters, and our wonderful technical team. Everyone is making today's live stream possible. I would like to welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Metro Atlanta North congregation, which we lovingly call UUMAN. UUMAN is a liberal faith community with the mission to nurture our spirit, strive for justice, and transform the world. No matter who you are, whom you love, or where your spiritual journey is taking you, all are welcome here. Welcome to all of us that are joining us remotely. We're glad to have you. For any visitors who are here with us for the first time, and if you are comfortable so, we'd love for you to stand and introduce yourself to us so we can just get to know you better. We won't bite you, I promise. And what I'm going to do is ask anyone on my left, do we have any visitors here today that would like to introduce themselves? If you stand up, man. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. It's great to have you. Great to have you. Any other visitors on my left? How about on my right? Yes, sir. Well, we're really glad to have you. Welcome. Anyone else? We're very happy to have everyone that is here today. Do we have welcome to everyone that's joining us remotely? For any visitors who are here with us for the first time, and if you're comfortable or standing so, you can text in that you're a first-time visitor, and so we would have your name on record. That would be great.
There are only 8 days left to register for the Montgomery trip, so reserve your seats now. We are down to our last 20 seats. $65 pays for the chartered bus, tickets to Equal Justice Initiative sites, and a boxed dinner on the way back to Atlanta. Use the QR code in today's order of worship to register. Please consult your printed order of worship to see our second-hour adult enrichment offerings for today. And now, let us greet one another with the hand or elbow of friendship.
Good morning. This morning's call to work Call to Worship is by Barbara Cheatham. It's a good morning to be when late autumn's darkness spreads across the land and cold begins to seep in through our thickest coats. We hurry here, drawn by the warmth of faces familiar and new, to the welcoming halls of this house. Here, for this hour, we open ourselves to new ways of understanding, reassurance, and hope, for this is a place where truth, love, and challenge meet. Welcome. It is a good morning to be together. And now let us light our chalice together.
Adventus means waiting. And the holiday season, if nothing, if not waiting. To get done the chores, to find the right gift, to find time for quiet moments, to accept that our loved ones will not be as we wish them to be. We will light the chalice this holiday season, this time of waiting, to remind ourselves to enjoy the moment, the now of our lives. Yes, much is coming, and always we wait, but those things to come will also be the now when they come. And now, if you're willing and able, if you would please stand and sing our opening hymn number 34 in the hardback hymnal, Though I May Speak with Bravest Fire. This is the time in our service where children young and old are invited to the front for our time for all ages. After the story, children are invited to exit into Fellowship Hall for Children's Chapel for the remainder of the service. If this is your child's first time attending Children's Chapel, please walk them to Fellowship Hall. After service, please escort your children to their appropriate RE classroom and Discovery Cottage during second hour. Owl Moon. It was late one winter night, long past my bedtime, when Pa and I went owling. There was no wind,
the trees stood still as giant statues, and the moon was so bright the sky seemed to shine. Somewhere behind us, a train whistle blew, long and low, like a sad, sad song. I could hear it through the woolen cap Pa had pulled down over my ears. A farm dog answered the train, and then a second dog joined in. They sang out, trains and dogs, for a real long time. And when their voices faded away, it was as quiet as a dream. We walked on towards the woods, Pa and I. Our feet crunched over the crisp snow, and little gray footprints followed us. Pa made a long shadow, but mine was shorter and round. I had to run after him every now and then to keep up, and my short, round shadow bumped after me. But I never called out. If you go owling, you have to be quiet. That's what Pa always says. I have been waiting to go owling with Pa for a long, long time. We reached the line of pine trees, black and pointy against the sky, and Pa held up his hand. I stopped right where I was and waited. He looked up, as if searching the stars, as if reading a map up there. The moon made his face into a silver mask. Then he called, "Hoo, hoo, hoo," the sound of a great horned owl. "Hoo, hoo, hoo." Again he called out, and then again. After each call, he was silent, and for a moment we both listened, but there was no answer. Pa shrugged, and I shrugged. I was not disappointed. My brothers all said, "Sometimes there's an owl, and sometimes there isn't." We walked on. I could feel the cold, as if someone's icy hand was palm down on my back, and my nose and the tops of my cheeks felt cold and hot at the same time. But I never said a word. If you go owling, you have to be quiet, and you make your own heat. We went into the woods. The shadows were the blackest things I had ever seen. They stained the white snow. My mouth felt furry, for the scarf over it was wet and warm. I didn't ask what kinds of things hide behind black trees in the middle of the night. When you go owling, you have to be brave. Then we came to a clearing in the dark woods. The moon was high above us. It seemed to fit exactly over the center of the clearing, and the snow below it was whiter than the milk in a cereal bowl. I sighed, and Pa held up his hand at the sound. I put my mittens over the scarf over my mouth and listened hard. When Pa called, "Hoo, hoo, 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 hoo," I listened and looked so hard my ears hurt, and my eyes got cloudy with the cold. Pa raised his face to call out again, but before he could open his mouth, an echo came threading its way through the trees. "Hoo, hoo, hoo." Pa almost smiled. Then he called back, "Hoo, hoo, hoo," just as if he and the owl were talking about supper, or about the woods, or about the moon, or about the cold. I took my mitten off the scarf off my mouth, and I almost smiled too. The owl's call came closer from high up in the trees on the edge of the meadow. Nothing in the meadow moved. All of a sudden, an owl shadow, part of the big tree shadow, lifted off and flew right over us. We watched silently with heat in our mouths, the heat of all those words we had not spoken. The shadow hooted again. Pa turned on his big flashlight and caught the owl just as it was landing on a branch. For 1 minute, 3 minutes, maybe even 100 minutes, we stared at one another. Then the owl pumped its great wings and lifted off the branch like a shadow without sound. It flew back to the forest. "Time to go home," Pa said to me. I knew then I could talk. I could even laugh out loud, but I was a shadow as we walked home. The end.
In an effort to fulfill and further the vision and mission of this congregation, we ask that our, oh gosh, I skipped a whole part. A whole part. Let me back up. Let's start over. Okay, our 50/50 recipient for December is Foster Care Support Foundation. Foster care provides support and vital basic needs to displaced children across the state who are not in a state-supported foster care, but are placed with family members. Our speaker this week is Sydney Everly. Better? You know, I'm sorry, I have to apologize. I'm a little off base this morning. It's been a little bit of a rough week. Tomorrow is Jimmy's birthday, and my brain just didn't together 100%, so I apologize for my errors this morning. Sydney is a senior at the University of Tennessee studying communications. She plans to work in marketing or corporate communications after she graduates in May. She has been volunteering with the Foster Care Support Foundation for the past 9 years and has worked on their staff for the last 2 years. She helps with social media, marketing, and overall community engagement to help find families in need and inspire people to get involved in the mission at the Foster Care Support Foundation. Please join me in welcoming Sydney.
Hello, everybody. I just wanted to say thank you for having me today. This is really incredible. I wanted to share a little bit about what we do, our mission, and how you guys can get involved with our organization. So to start, a little bit of history about how we got started. Our current director and founder, Rachel Ewald, started this all in her garage back in 1996. So she was a foster parent herself, had about 50 children come through her home during her time as a foster parent, along with her 4 biological children. So as you can imagine, her house was full of kids. She had the full range of ages, from preemies to adult-sized teenagers. So she needed a bunch of different equipment to make sure that she could fully make sure these kids have what they needed to succeed in her home. So I want to talk a little bit about what a displaced child is, because our name is the Foster Care Support Foundation, but like she mentioned, we serve primarily relative care. That is when a child is removed from the home due to something similar to a foster care situation like tragedy, incarceration, or loss, and instead of them going to a stranger's home, they're placed with a relative, so something like an aunt, uncle, or a lot of times a grandparent. However, when they're placed in this home, the grandparents are typically retired, living off Social Security, or they're disabled, and so it's a huge financial burden for them to take in these relatives. They want to because they don't want them to go to a stranger's home, but they aren't always equipped to handle it. So that's where we step in as the Foster Care Support Foundation to make sure they have everything they need: clothing, toys, infant equipment, all of that, so the kids can be as successful as possible during such a difficult time. So, what do we do? The children and families can come in twice a year. They get a spring-summer wardrobe and a fall-winter. We also have a Christmas program where the relative care families can come in and get their wish lists for the kids, and then they have a really magical Christmas. So we're doing that right now, which is a great program. But it wouldn't be possible without our community support. We have thousands of kids that we serve across the entire state of Georgia. This started as a small neighborhood thing, but we have grown so much, and we want to continue to support as many kids as possible. So we need people like you in our community to support what we do. So I'm here today to share the 3 ways we get support, and you can find whichever way fits into your lifestyle. That first way is going to be through donated goods. Anything you would typically bring to a Goodwill, we will also accept. So spring cleaning, you may decide to do in December this year, and then bring anything that you no longer need that you can give to the children in your community. Anything that wouldn't go to a child, we still use. We have a resale shop that's right down the road from here, actually, about 5 minutes. And anything like furniture, more mature clothing that a child wouldn't wear, anything like that will get sold back to our community, and then all the proceeds go directly back into our center, and then we can provide more things for the children. That leads me to the second way you can support, which is financial contributions. Whether you want to be a monthly sponsor of a child, do a one-time donation. We also have something going on right now called the Georgia Tax Credit. So you're all Georgia residents. You can use your state income tax, redesignate it to an approved foster care program like ours. It's money you're already going to pay in your state income tax. You just have to fill out a quick form, let them know that you want to designate your taxes to our program, and then that money goes to us. It's no extra money that you're paying, just a short process. So it's a really easy way to support us without doing anything extra. So if you're interested in that, there's more information on our website. I'd be happy to talk with you guys after the service. But that last way that you can support us is through volunteering. We go through thousands of volunteers each year. We have a huge facility that needs to be run. And so getting you to come in and sort through our donations, restock our store. We send mail outs to families that aren't able to come into our center to shop if they're over an hour away or they're physically unable. So each volunteer has to sometimes shop for an individual child, pick out all their clothing, and then we'll ship it off to them. So as you can see, we do a lot of really great things at the organization, and I hope that I've stressed to you how inspiring it is and how much good work is done. Like she said, I've been volunteering with the organization for 9 years, and I can truly say that it is just so amazing to see when the families come in, how grateful they are for what they're receiving. A lot of them are brought to tears because they aren't sure how they're going to give their kids a coat for winter, and they come away with a whole wardrobe. The kids are excited because they get a full load of toys to play with when they get home, and it is just so amazing to see. So I would love for you all to come and be a part of that. It is so incredible. This community here in Roswell needs to uplift and support all of these children so that they have a chance to thrive and be successful. So those are the 3 ways to support: donating goods, financially contributing, or volunteering. We'd be happy to have you join us in whichever way makes sense for you guys. But thank you for letting me come and speak with you all today. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. And if you want to come speak with me after the service, I would love to share more. Thank you.
In an effort to fulfill and further the vision and mission of this congregation, we ask that our members and friends share their time, talent, and treasures. With this, we will now take the offering. And if you will use the Give Now option in the Breeze app or the web browser.
A 1, 2, 3, 4. You gotta find your people, the ones that make you feel alright, the kind you wanna stay up with all night. You gotta find your people, the ones that make you feel whole. They won't leave your side when you lose control. The ones don't let you lose your soul. You gotta find your people, the ones that get the joke, who understand what you're saying before a word is spoke. You gotta find your people, put the needle in the groove. When you're together, you got nothing to prove. When you're together, you got nothing to lose. In a world full of strangers, you don't know who to trust. All you see is danger, trying to find what you lost. Can't go it alone, everybody needs help. You gotta find your people, then you find yourself. You gotta find your people that'll call your bluff, who ride along when the road is rough. You gotta find your people, the ones that make you feel equal. They'll pick you up and don't put you down. Help you find your way in the lost and found. In a world full of strangers, you don't know who to trust. All you see is danger, trying to find what you lost. Can't go it alone, everybody needs help. You gotta find your people, then you find yourself. The ones that understand you, the ones that lend a hand to you, the ones that don't demand anything from you. You gotta find your people, the ones that make you feel all right, that tell you the truth and wish you well. You gotta find your people, then you find yourself. You gotta find your people, then you find yourself.
We accept this generous offering, generously given by our beloved members and friends. May we and the Foster Care Support Foundation use it wisely and judiciously in service to our mission.
Song. I've listened to it so many times. I found it through Pandora, listening to somebody else that I like, and I just clung on to it immediately. So we are at the point in our service now when we share our joys and our sorrows with each other, our joys to magnify them and our sorrows to divide the weight of the pain. If you are so moved, please feel free to come forward and state your name and drop a pebble in the water and express a joy or sorrow that you may have. For those of you attending via live stream, if you have a joy or a sorrow that you would like to share, please type it in the chat so we can share it.
Good morning. My name is Joan. I'm a member at UUMAN. I have a huge joy today. Tomorrow, Ellen will be 5. And yesterday, we celebrated her birthday. It was pure joy and chaos. But as many of you know, she's had a difficult beginning to her life. And the fact that we are celebrating 5 years and she is healthy is just the biggest joy that I could ever have. So I wanted to share that.
Good morning. I'm Gary Denning, longtime member here. I have a joy. I mentioned a few months back that my mom had fallen and suffered a pretty bad concussion, and it was a very tough recovery road, but I can say she is recovering. How do I know that? After spending 5 weeks down there with her in Naples, Florida, she has returned to doing every New York Times intellectual quiz type game you can imagine and completing them all with ease. She has returned to power walking in her neighborhood. You know, at the age of 81, I have to struggle to keep up with her. And she's just a joy to be with. I got a chance to spend time with her at Thanksgiving, so I'm very happy about that.
My name is Jim Saunders. I'm a member of this congregation, and I want to tell you a story. Back in 1992, the first Sunday in December, I was dating this really cool chick I met. And she was an artist. So I was an art dealer and an artist. I thought it was a perfect match. But we had only been dating 6 weeks, and she said, "Would you come to church with me?" I said, "Okay." I went to an office park where there were about 20 these crazy liberals, and I didn't know that church and that woman would change my life.
I'm Sarah Hunter, and I have a joy and then a remembrance. Last night, we had an auction event. Ann and Dirk and I, it was an ornament exchange, and we had a blast. So I would suggest everybody offer an event at the next auction. It's a lot of fun. It's a way to get to know people, and to new members, I would really recommend you go to them. Like I said, it's a lot of fun. And then remembrance, Tuesday is going to be the 53rd anniversary of my husband and I. Sorry, miss him a lot, so thank you.
Hi, I'm Mark, and I'm a member of this congregation. I'm also a Navy veteran, and today is the 84th anniversary of attack on Pearl Harbor. We lost 2,500 sailors in the first battle against fascism, and now we're starting that battle up again, and hopefully American people can come again and defeat them once again. So just remember that. It was 84 years ago, and these are our parents and our grandparents that fought that war the first time. Antifa.
Good morning. My name is Amy. This is my husband, Ben. We have a joy. Our oldest, Neil, turns 8 on Tuesday. He is a joy if you haven't met him. He's a crazy little redhead and purple glasses. And we had a celebration with a lot of his friends yesterday, and just watching him and his friends was just wonderful.
Hi, I'm Liz. I'm your intern minister, and I have Stone of Joy. This time of year is one of the busiest times of year for me at Emory, so I'm grateful that Dave is preaching for me today. And I get to do such amazing things. Because it's the end of the semester and it's the holiday time, this past week I got to assist with Bodhi Day, celebrating the enlightenment of the Buddha. We had a special Saraswati puja for our Hindu students so they could pray for help with their exams. And we had a special Juma lunch because it was the last big prayer of the semester. I also got to host 2 BYU professors this week, which was very interesting for me to have to do and talk about interfaith work. So I'm just a great joy that I feel like I get such great opportunities and I'm right where I should be at Emory right now. And, last but not least, somebody else's remembrance reminded me of this, but this coming week would have been my mom's 74th birthday. She passed in 1998 when I was 27. And everyone always said that she always used to say, I was the best birthday present she ever got because I was born the day after she was. So birthday's coming.
Hi, my name is Richard Bamba, member here. I joined this church fellowship congregation 2 years and 2 months ago, and I found my people. Thank you.
My name is Gus. Yesterday I participated in a great celebration. Our neighbors next door, the Machine, it's official now, and what they're building is amazing and fits very nicely with all that's going on here. So if you're not familiar with them, I encourage you to ask. And also, we would be very remiss to not mention the election that just happened, something we've been moving toward for a long time, and the opportunities that it affords to advance the values of people here and all over the world. And not to mention, of course, or to mention it, Jennifer Philippi, a member of this congregation that will now be an important part of changes going forward.
Dropping a pebble this morning. Again, I'm Tanya, a member of this congregation. Tomorrow's Jimmy's birthday. I lost him 2 years ago, and he is with me every single day. While this is a single pebble for his birthday, I wish I could drop the whole bowl of pebbles for the gratitude for the time that I had with him. So for those that are unable to share, maybe the sorrows are too deep to leave the folds of your heart, may we all keep each other in our hearts for the coming week.
Free from desire, you realize the mystery. Caught in desire, you see only the manifestations. Yet the mystery and manifestations all arise from the same source. That source is darkness. Darkness within darkness. The gateway to all understanding. Those words are from the opening chapter of the Tao Te Ching, conveying the idea that both the manifestations, that which is manifest, and the mystery, the unseen, the hidden, all arise from the same source, darkness. Darkness within darkness. And Genesis 1 says, "Let there be light." And that before that, it says, "Then the earth was a formless void, and darkness covered the face of the deep." Many creation stories and myths of creation explain light coming from the darkness. But darkness comes first. Darkness is the void, the womb, from which all things are sourced, from which all things, its void, its womb, its source, its silence. And out of that, all life is born. At this time of year, as we approach the winter solstice, darkness is thrust upon us. What an opportunity. What an opportunity to have the gateway of all understanding to envelop us. An opportunity for what, you might ask? To prepare for what we wish to bring forth and embody in our lives. First, we can look to nature as a guide. In autumn, as darkness descends upon us, deciduous trees enter a period of dormancy. They drop their leaves, their manifestations. Yet, activity is still taking place in darkness, hidden underneath the womb of the earth. Underground, the roots draw resources from the branches and through the trunk down to the roots to extend their roots, to grow deeper, to spread out, to prepare for new growth to come. And as Liz mentioned, tomorrow is Bodhi Day, the day commemorating Buddha's awakening or enlightenment. He was raised in a relatively privileged environment, but then when he experienced suffering, he sought to attain enlightenment to deal with that suffering. And he lived his life as an ascetic, as an extreme ascetic. In extreme conditions of self-denial, self-mortification, intense fasting, to the point where he was emaciated. And he did this for 6 years. And still, he didn't achieve enlightenment. It wasn't working for him. So although he renounced his asceticism, he was still determined to achieve enlightenment. And on the night of a full moon, he sat underneath a Bodhi tree and essentially said, I will not move from this spot until I achieve enlightenment. Siddhartha Gautama went into a dormant state, a state of deep meditation. And while sitting, he became enlightened to a middle path, the middle way, and became the Buddha. Today is the second Sunday of Advent. Advent is a time of the year for Christians to prepare for that which they want to bring forth and embody in their lives. For Christians, it is a time of prayer and reflection, often emptying out via fasting to make way for something which will truly fulfill. Of course, other holidays take place at this time of year. We have Hanukkah. It starts at various times because it's due to the Hebrew calendar. We have Hanukkah. We have Christmas. African Americans, many African Americans celebrate Kwanzaa. Christmas and Kwanzaa happen after the solstice, after the light is returned. And all three of those holidays, Hanukkah, Christmas, and Kwanzaa, are celebratory holidays. Unlike Advent, not that it's a time, it's not celebratory, it's a time of preparation. But Hanukkah, Christmas, and Kwanzaa are celebratory. Almost every major religion has an annual time of preparation, of reflection. Christianity, again, has Advent, and it has Lent prior to Easter. Judaism has, prior to the high holy days of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, is the month of Elul, which is a month of preparation, self-examination, and repentance. Islam has the holy month of Ramadan, basically characterized by intense prayer an intense fasting during the daylight hours, where no food and water is taken during the daylight hours. In Hinduism, there's the autumnal Navaratri holiday, which is 9 nights of purification. What about us? What about us Unitarian Universalists? When do we hibernate? When do we go dormant? When do we forego outwardly manifestations and enter the mystery and the darkness? When do we go to that looks within place, as Native Americans might say? Being a covenantal rather than a creedal religion, we don't have any ready-made prescriptions to go there. We all hold a wide variety of beliefs personally. So any singular prescriptive tradition, which is those traditions are usually based on some kind of creed of some sort, sometimes they don't work. Oh, I really wish we did have something. We should be able to come up with something. We should be able to do better than that. In Unitarian Universalism, we have a freedom of belief. Each person, think about that. Each person is responsible for nurturing their own faith and spiritual development. It doesn't come from me. I can't tell you, nor can any other minister, nor can the denomination tell you what it is you should believe. That's a huge responsibility. No other denomination really has. You carry a huge responsibility. Yet, as part of any deep faith, it is incumbent upon all of us to cultivate that looks within place, to explore the mystery and the darkness, to reflect, to lay the groundwork for future spiritual growth. How might you begin to do this? Well, you could start by incorporating any aspect of an established spiritual practice that resonates with you. And you can leave other aspects behind. What works for you? This is what you're practicing on your own. What spiritual practices can you incorporate into your life from anywhere, from any source? Again, maybe it's the season of Advent or the season of Lent that resonates with you. Why not incorporate that into your own practice? For me personally, I've been inspired by Islam's holy month of Ramadan, and I incorporate some of those practices into my own holy month that I exercise in January and February between Martin Luther King Day and Valentine's Day, which the Unitarian Universalists call 30 Days of Love. It's a social justice month. I use that as my personal Ramadan month. I do drink water and coffee. But maybe you should set aside some time, this time of year, each day during a month. Do something you don't typically do as an intentional, deepening spiritual practice. Set a daily intention through perhaps each morning through like journal writing. Or don't write it down, do it verbally, which is called prayer. Setting an intention for your day. What do you wish to embody on this day? Perhaps you read scripture or a spiritual book for a little bit each and every day during this month. Scripture, it could be any scripture, the Bible, the Bhagavad Gita, the Tao Te Ching, or just a spiritual book, The Artist's Way. Many people love that book. Maybe listen to a religious or spiritual podcast each and every day. Maybe engage in a daily meditation practice, or take a time of intentional silence each day for an hour. No TV, no phone, no phone, no talking, no music, no talking for an hour. See what that's like. Intentionally take an intentional time each day to connect with nature. It could be the same way, it could be a different way. A walking meditation through the woods. As we approach the solstice and darkness, the gateway to all understanding begins to envelop us. May we take the time to see this as the opportunity of a lifetime. An opportunity to venture into that looks within place, where we can begin to dig deeper, to deepen our roots, to make room for new growth, so that we can begin to embody and bring forth into our lives that which will truly fulfill. So, what are you waiting for? Let us enter into a spirit of reflection and meditation. Maybe you close your eyes, focus on your breath, and most importantly, relax. Just melt into your chair. The earth tilts on its axis as it orbits the sun. Light and dark, waxing and waning. The moon orbits the earth and shows us its phases. Light and dark, waxing and waning. From the moon, the blue earth shows it our phases. Light and dark, waxing and waning. Waxing and waning is the nature of all things, complementing one another. Winter solstice, waxing darkness. Darkness within darkness. Take me to that looks within place, the gateway to all understanding. And help me to understand what roots I am cultivating. Help me to understand what roots I am sending deeper. What is it that I wish to embody when the light returns? Amen.
Please rise as you are able and join us in singing hymn number 159, This Is My Song, from the hardback hymnal.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
These days of so little light, kneel down and give thanks for this wonderful event. We may think mornings are so common that they are unworthy of veneration. But do you realize that most places in the cosmos do not have mornings? Greet the dawn. That is your miracle to witness. Go in peace and enjoy your week.